All right, everyone, let us start. Test the sound here, see how that works. That looks good. And then if we do this, oh, here I am. Nice. Okay. So we're good to go. Move this just a bit. So FYI, guys, I'm going to be ending, we'll go for about an hour again today, but I'll have to end pretty much right on time. I've got a thing with the University of Toronto tonight talking about AI and trading strategies and things like that. So we'll be getting right into it. So again, if anyone's new here or if you're going to stumble upon this recording later and you're wondering what we do is, I like to do a couple pre-recorded videos each week. Some of those short videos of what I'm watching, but those seem to be kind of dying off in popularity, so it might be time to do something else. But once a week, I do an hour-long live stream. So I'm going to scan through the markets. I'm going to do my analysis of what I think is going to happen on the markets for Monday. I'm going to kind of go through and look at Forex, equities, and stocks are kind of the main three things that I trade. And we're going to talk about basically what I can find for trades to take tomorrow or Monday. And then I'll do chart requests at the end. So if you guys have any charts you want me to take a look at, I can certainly do that. And then we'll go from there. So as always, what you're going to see right now is basically the work that I put in every night to the Stats Edge Pro product. So people who are Stats Edge Pro members, they get access to this watch list that I build. Every single night, they get access to kind of the breakdown of what it is that I'm trading and why, along with Discord room, and we have our Q&A chat. And just FYI, if there's any Stats Edge Pro people here and you did not receive your email to say, hey, we'll be doing the pro member chat on next Tuesday after the close. So get ready for that. Send in any questions either through Discord or email or whatever. And, I'll get to those during the live Q&A. You're obviously welcome to come on. It's just a Zoom call, so you're welcome to come on the mic and ask a question. Do whatever you would like there, and I will certainly give you a hand, the best I can with that. And then just, spoiler for the people who aren't going to be there, it'll be recorded, of course. But for the people who are there, I'm going to be going over the day trading plan that I created for this small account that I opened. As people of the Stats Edge Pro know that I have a day trading account, day trading algorithms somewhere that I can't really speak too much about. But then I opened up a separate day trading account to implement a really kind of a basic strategy that I am going to talk about, and it's actually all right here. So we'll go through this on Tuesday. I'll talk about kind of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, trying to make sure that it takes up kind of as little time as possible, because again, it's just a secondary, smaller type account. So I've already got some things planned, but as always, the point of it is, once a month, you guys get an unlimited amount of time with me. I will stay until all the questions are done. So bring your own beer, and that will be great. So let's just get right into it. Let's go over to Trendspider here first, which is more or less how I do my analysis. And then from there, we'll pop into trade ideas, which I do the scanning and everything as well. Again, this is the kind of charts that you'll see at Stats Edge Pro. I update these each night. Again, I'll just go quickly through them, right, where these will get kind of shown my thoughts on these individual stocks and where I'd be interested and all that kind of stuff. But that's not what we're chatting about right now. Well, let's start with Bitcoin. And, we all heard the news today and all of that. I'm not a big news guy, but, China's banning Bitcoin, shocker. Yeah, Sam. So again, you guys can always chat with me in the Discord chat as well, right? So, oh, nice. That's good. I just read someone had a all green week, so I'm assuming 5 days green. That's great. Away on Tuesday will be recorded. Yep, Sam, 100%. We'll have that all recorded, and that will go up on the members site as well, so you guys can watch that. But so yeah, so crypto, China banned crypto, shocking. You know, we had a little sell back today. This is kind of what I've been noting in the platform for the last bit is that, you know, every time we're dipping here and kind of in this area right here, we're getting buyers to come in. You know, so I'm kind of, let's just do this box style. Right? They say draw your support and resistance, your trend line with a crayon and not a pencil. It's an old trader saying. So you can see that, you know, prior resistance in through here is acting as support in through here. So it'll be interesting to see if we close this one not that down on the day. I think that will be incredibly bullish for crypto or for Bitcoin, just because, you know, if you take a look at it, that should be big news, right? And anybody who's followed me for any length of time knows that I think, you know, trying to trade the news is pretty dumb. You know, it's, you don't know what it's going to be in advance. No one does. It's a very hard thing to do. Now, looking at the reaction to news is something that I like to take a look at, where, you know, for example, with Bitcoin here, you know, this is fairly bad news. It's, you know, what the second largest economy in the world is banning it, and we're down 5% on the day. Anyone who's ever traded crypto for any length of time will know that that's nothing, right? That's just a standard day for crypto, up or down 5%. So I am very impressed with the relative strength that we have here on Bitcoin, right? And so my kind of theory, as long as we're above this kind of box I drew in, call it 39 to 41,000, you can probably be long Bitcoin there. Under that is where I would start to worry. So the dip buyers still seem to be a thing. Just going to add some notes here. And again, this is all trying to, with what I have tonight, trying to multitask here and get some of the charts taken care of for the Stats Edge people as well. Now, this is kind of yeah, so been chatting about this one for a while, and still in for you guys that are following along. Again, you know, not a signal service. I am not a guru. I'm not a, you know, one of those guys. But I really liked Adam that in this initial sell-off a couple days ago, we held kind of this $31 area, which, you know, was resistance back here and is support right in through here. Right, so we got resistance here and support here. We did a good job holding that, so I'm actually long a fair amount of this atom. I don't know what it is in this kind of mid 30s area, looking to see if we break out and maybe take some sort of a run there. This is a longer term type trade, but as I said, I want to see these all-time highs get taken out soon in the next week, maybe. If we start chopping around here for a long period of time, you know, I may just take my profits and kind of get out of that. Ether, kind of the same thing. I guess really nothing to say there. ADA USD is another one that I follow. This one, I don't like that we're under this area. So I think to get long, right? So to get along this, I would say you need to clear this resistance zone right here and basically call it 230, 240. Above that, I think it's interesting. Below that, you know, I would stay out. And that's just kind of more or less the way I look at these. Now for some FX. So basically, I guess I always like to summarize when I'm done. So for crypto, basically, as long as we're holding above this area, it's interesting, and I'm impressed with the strength on this news. You know, it's nothing for crypto to fall and tank, 20, 30, 40% in a blink of an eye. So the fact that the second economy in the world bans it entirely and we're only down 5%, I think that's interesting to note. So I do trade Forex as well. So let's go into some of those that I have on the go. This GBP USD, you can see all of the anchored VWAPs from here. So just a lot of resistance in this area. So I told everybody in my little chat there yesterday that I was shorting this rip when the bar looked like this yesterday into that area. That's paying for me today. And markets are going to close down here in a second, but I'm going to be covering some of my position if I can. I have just a bid right below price there to see if I can get some before the markets close. I may not. The rest I'm going to see if we get a kind of a breakdown and a continuation. So basically just down here. Right, so just looking to see if this support zone breaks or whether or not we continue to bounce off that. I'm fairly new to Forex trading, and what I've learned, and this kind of sucked, USD, GPY, is the choppiness of it in comparison to anything else. So I was short right here as JPY sold off, and then it just bounced pretty dramatically off of these levels. So I guess technically that's doing what it should, whereas this consolidation looks like it's resolving in the direction of the trend. I said I was watching long on this one, but I just didn't pull the trigger. It's something I have to get better at, is when I'm wrong, getting out. But, flipping. But I just need to get better at that as the whole. So that's kind of what I'm looking at in the Forex and the crypto kind of areas. Now let's go into stocks, and I like to look at the RSP, which, again, if you guys don't know, the SPY is not an equally weighted indice, so it means that the SPY, basically you get more weighting, way more weighting into your big tech names, so into Facebook, Amazon, Google, Microsoft. All of these make up like 25% of the SPY. So looking at this with saying the RSP, it's an equal weighted indice. So each of the 500 names get an equal weight within this indice. So for me, it's just a better overall view of what it is that the market as a whole is doing. So you can see that I had a little area drawn in right here to see what happens. I'm actually going to move that one down here and then watch this one up here. And to be honest, let's actually make this a little bit more precise. And I have, right, bouncing like we thought it would. After this bottoming tail down here, I kind of said that I think the bounce is on, and that's what's happened. I don't know if we're going to be screaming to all-time highs here. We may, but I don't really foresee that happening. More or less, I just see for the next little bit just this chop, just this kind of sideways. We'll find a range, I think, for the next bit, maybe between here and here. Because again, every time I have a theory that's about kind of max pain of the market will do what hurts the most amount of people. And essentially for that to occur, I see a lot of perma bulls fighting perma bears. And the thing that would hurt most of them the most would just be choppy range bound action. And if we take a look at the RSP, again, if we look at the SPY, it looks like the market's just been, rocketing forever. But then let's look at the RSP, which is an equal weight version, and you can see the chop that's been occurring here, right? How we've been kind of just chopping back and forth. And if we look at the IWM, same thing, right? Right. So this IWM, we're just stuck in this range. And that's what the market's been doing. And that's why it's been frustrating, I think, for a lot of people. And why I think it will continue to do this, because it will continue to be frustrating for a lot of people where, you get the rips are being sold and the dips are being bought. And if you're that kind of trader, that's great. If you're not, it may be time to look to adapt. The guys in the chat will tell you I'm doing a lot of pullback style trading now, a lot of rounded bottoms, bull flags, things like that, where instead of chasing breakouts, I'm waiting for that second move, and I'm just trying to get my little piece of that individual second move. If we take a look at, this is Koifin, which is a site I use all the time and mainly for this right here, which I like to go 5 days. And this kind of tells you what's happening mostly in the market. Really nothing to glean here today, but what I like to do to look at this is generally you may see patterns of behavior in which the risk on assets are leading or the risk off assets are leading. In this case, I really don't see that. Technology and discretionaries are doing okay. Energy seems to be leading, right? Uranium and natural gas have been on fire, but not a huge amount to be gleaned from this. And then I always want to find out what economic news. So I use Forex Factory here. Again, no affiliation with either of these. And man, yeah, it does look like we get some interesting news. Durable good orders, FOMC, people yapping, and that's about it. For the US, which is mainly what I'm focused on here. But yeah, there's really nothing interesting going on there on the news front. So, really, let's take a look at XLE. Yeah, I mentioned that this breakout was interesting today, and it looks like that breakout is continuing. So yeah, this is something that's really interesting where you could call this an inverse head and shoulders here. Right? So we have shoulder, head, shoulder, and we may be breaking up. That'd be very interesting, especially considering it occurred where we had a low right here. So I wouldn't be shocked to see if this thing takes a run back at highs right there. Again, could happen. And then I guess we have all-time highs way above. And I think the only thing that's really holding this back is USO. Is this, which is breaking out, but if we scroll out, it's still in the really low end of this range. The 50% mark, I guess, from the sell-off to the buy is still above. So we could take a little pop here on oil. And so it's weird that the CAD looks like it's breaking down with all that. With oil being strong and financials being strong, it's kind of weird that CAD looks like it's breaking down. Interesting. All right. So again, my bet on the equity markets is just chop. And that's really the end of it. I don't think the market is going to make it easy enough on us to see either, a scream to new highs and breakout and continuation, or a crash back down. There's too much FOMO and there's too much TINA, they call it, which is there is no other option. Because what else do you invest in with interest rates this low, right? You're not going to buy bonds. You're not going to buy 10-year or anything like that. So, what is it that you buy? And it's equities or crypto are the only place that you can put your money. If you're worried about inflation, it would never make sense to put your money in cash and to stay in cash, which a lot of people are worried about inflation, but then at the same time worried that the stock market's going to go down, which I've said before, I don't think makes any sense, right? Inflation essentially just means prices of things going up. And those people are worried about the prices of things going down, so they sell their stocks and then they go into cash, which is losing about 5% a year. Again, I think it's just people yelling at clouds, but so that's really why I think, again, we're going to see chop, is because people are getting nervous that the market is overextended, which doesn't make any sense to me, right? Considering if you look at the IWM, we haven't gone anywhere for like a year. So it just makes me think that if we break out, things could continue significantly. But at the same time, there's nowhere else to put your money. So I think that's why dips are getting bought and rips are getting sold. Again, it doesn't really matter why. It's just fun to guess on the psychology of it all. But, it has to be, it is happening, right? So that's all you need to know. So for the foreseeable future, that's the kind of trading that I am going to go through and take. So now let's, other way. Here we go. Pop over to trade ideas. And then from here, I'm going to go through and start doing some scanning. This is also where I'll take chart requests. So if people have something that they want to chat about, they want me to look at a stock or whatever, I'll go through and take a look at that. So basically, I'm looking for stocks to add to my watch list. Wow, DVAX. Monster. Had DVAX back in that area. We bought it right here. And then, just sold it out as it ran. But it looks like there's another chance for a continuation. Tesla, TSLA. I could. It's, that's a nice looking bull flag it's breaking out of for sure. It's had this big rounded base in a while, and it's popping up out of that now. Closed right at highs. So a decent looking close there. I would look at this gap right in here. It could fill that gap, and that could just mean that we hit that and bounce off. So that may be worrisome a little bit, but you just got to keep in mind that exists. But yeah, it could continue, and if it gets going, right, we know Tesla can go. Now, what I would do is, instead of really looking at Tesla, just looking at where the hey Grant, looking at some of the other names, right? Some of the ones that could get going kind of in sympathy to Tesla, that have a higher beta to Tesla, so you could, in theory, make more, is more or less how I would look at it. Ride, again, the people from the room that will say, that follow me, I guess, right? We are in Ride from down here. Basically took it on this breakout, this candle right here. So this big rounded bottom, I'm betting on. Again, I don't know this. I think this company may be a bit problematic, but just a nice rounded looking bottom. Could take a shot at 10. It would be nice to see what's Go EV. So yeah, this one's popping. LCID. So yeah, might want to take a look at some of these, right? Lucid. So there's a nice base on Lucid. So that may continue higher as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to keep that in mind. FSR too. Yeah, See, this one's just up a few days in a row. I think I would like Lucid better and then ride better than that. Just because, again, I like to get breakouts at a base instead of chasing a number of days up in a row. I kind of like that continuation. Oh, no problem. So you're looking at short MDP. That's just a gap up. I don't see anything there. There's no chart pattern to go over. PRGS. The same thing. Just a gap up. So there's some good news that came out, and that pushed the stock higher. I don't really see a necessary mean for a gap there as well. RDS. Not a thing. DKS. Yeah, I had this one on watch actually. Let's go back to here. So this was part of the, and I think this gave a good lesson. Oh. So yeah, this was part of the watch list that I share with you guys. And there was a good lesson here because I said watch, right? 135.50, and then with stop would be about 130. But this this shows why I wait. Basically, I enter and exit all of my swing trades at the end of the day. And this is the main reason for that, is that you know you get so many, especially in this market, things that spike over resistance and then fall back down. So again, I still think it exists, that resistance at 135.50 exists. And if you can break and hold above that, that'd be interesting. You know, if we break down here, it's less interesting to me. You can see we broke the trend line. We're below the short-term moving averages. This one's actually not nearly as interesting to me. And to be honest, I think I'm actually going to just take it off the list here. But, you know, if it spends some time and then gets back over 135, that's interesting. I just wouldn't buy anything right with all of this resistance right in the way. Let's take it off that watch list. Yeah. And then rad. Ooh. Yeah, not a fan there. I see the support, but you've got all of these bag holders from 20 down to 15 you got to get through, and then nerve. And I think you're just more, just by looking at these, you're just more of a counter trader type of person. Now this one's a little bit more interesting to me, just because again you have a bit until that resistance, but you know that's a dollar, so you'd have to invest a fair amount in it to get that. So that's less interesting to me as well. More or less, the things that I'm looking for right now are things that didn't participate when the market sold off. So kind of my favorite looking stock right now is this IC. I like anything that is down a few days in a row here and then gaps up, because all of these people are now wrong. And now it's just kind of putting in, after this big strong up move, it's just putting in this sideways base. I bought a little bit of it today. I'm actually hoping to see a close over 1660 and then look for some continuation the next day. And then, you know, my stops under 16 here. More or less what I like to see is just this kind of digestion of, you know, big strong up move, and then it's going to take a while to digest. You know, the more I focus, yikers. Man, we had Upstart in here somewhere, didn't we? Man, oh man, that's a beast. Yeah, more or less what I'm, the more I focus on relative strength and relative weakness, the more interested I am in relative strength and relative weakness. So, you know, a simple guide of relative strength right now would be, you know, we had a recent little sell-off, right? Little 5% down. I know some people were, oh, this is the end of the world and blah, 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 blah. But we were down 5%. Well, that one's interesting to me. I'm gonna add that one to the list. So, what didn't really participate in the just writing that down as well. What didn't participate in a sell-off, right? And we can go from there. It's the whole concept between the or behind the TI strength alerts that I built is the concept that if you invest or you buy in the things that are strong, they're more likely to stay strong, and if you buy things that are weak, they're more likely to be weak. This one's interesting to me as well. 9% short float. I never traded it, but I actually had it on the watch list right here on this pullback, on this shallow pullback, and that would have been great. And now we're putting in another little range here, so a break of that might also be nice. We'll see. Pull that in there. Pop that up. There we go. Was in it for a while. Oh, awesome. I'm glad someone got it. I don't know if you got it off my mention or not, but looking at it, I'm kind of mad that I didn't. BlackBerry is interesting there. I know it's a meme stock, but broke this. I told you that I like things that gap up and hold that are in downtrends, and then it put in this little inside day. So I'm gonna see maybe there's some continuation on Monday on BlackBerry. Would be nice to be on the side of the meme stock guys, but I don't know. I get a little worried just because it's it can be kind of wild, right? Yeah, there's RMO. That's a EV related name, right? Is that an income trust? Yeah, geez. What's an income trust doing moving like that? Jeez. ENVX. This one's kind of interesting too. We have this $20 resistance. It's kind of cracked against 3 times and little tiny inside day. That's interesting. So you're looking at BAP, BAP, BAP. Yeah, could be breaking out there. What flag is that? Peru. There you go. Now I know what the Peru flag looks like. Yeah, nice kind of big push up, sideways base. Google the whack off bottom. Basically, the concept behind that is just you basically get a range, and then you get a breakdown that's quickly reversed, right? So, call it a bear trap, call it bear trap or look below and fail kind of thing. This one's interesting to me. Tax preparation services. That sounds fun. But what a nice right, a nice kind of ascending triangle here, right? Chopping around, might be poised for another breakout. 3% short float, only 85 million shares in the float. Is this like a technology? Cloud-based solutions focused on taxability. Yeah, it's the longer term. Oh, it's above everything. That's a really strong looking chart there. That ALVR, CRVS. It's a request. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I did some day trades on this week. Kind of wish I didn't, to be honest, but I don't think I made on it. I hope you guys appreciate what I'm doing with this this day trading account that I'm going to be showing you guys. I took some hits earlier on there, refining the strategy, but I'm fairly confident in it now. But again, just like anything, it will be a way for me to show you guys how I kind of do things in a semi-robotic, semi-automated type of a way. But this one's interesting where it's obviously been strong and it's been pulling back with these inside days right here. Above this area, like 730, the thing could go below it. It could sell off, certainly. It's pharmaceutical preparation, so you got to be a little careful about that. TIL, just up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row. I just could not ever bring myself to buy something up that much in a row. CERT is certainly interesting. Oh, that's a newer issue, eh? Yeah, I like the look of this one too. Nice little uptrending move there. Let's draw an anchored VWAP from the very swing low. You can see it's well above that. And then draw another anchored VWAP from that swing high, and it's above that too. So kind of all signs point to yes on this one if it gets kind of over this 37 area. I like the look of that one there. Oh, TIL stands for today, I learned. Well, there you go. I'm just not a hip young kid with all the internet slang. It's so crazy that in about an hour I'm going to be like teaching at a university. Like that's just wild to me. It feels like a very short time ago I was in university. I don't know if I'm allowed to record it, but if I can, I'm gonna, and I'll upload it to the channel. But I just don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed because it's an actual course, right? You know, it's an actual university course, and there'll be university people on the Zoom call. So I just don't know if I'm allowed, but MMAT is very interesting here with this kind of bull flag going on right there. I think I may have had this on the list before. Might still be on the list for all I know. I'd have to take a look at it, but it is interesting. We've got a potential cup and then a handle here. So above 525 or so, could get a little bit of a run if it tried to go back to highs, which I doubt. It would be that would be a double, which would be amazing. Here's your nerve. Yeah, you can see I'm really going after strength here, and that's like totally on purpose, where we're getting such chop in the market. Yikers. Unregulated telecommunication services. Hammered, nice little base going on here. But yeah, we're getting such chop that I want to make sure that I'm really hunting for things that have not been participating in the chop and have just been strong throughout, right? And just continue to look strong throughout. So that's interesting. Let's run this one. Buyout. Frog's interesting. Is that a FROG? Yeah. Wait, what? FORG. Man, dyslexia is hard. No, that's just a new issue. It's just the reason I went over to Trendspider and check is that some, when they're acquisitions or SPACs that become companies, some charting platforms want to include all of the stuff before the acquisitions and some don't. So this one doesn't, but it is something that I like just because you've got a clear kind of area resistance up in here, call it, 4675-ish, 4650, right? If we break that, you can see that each of these dips are getting bought. They're more like swing scalps if they're IPOs like this, but it is something that's interesting. GSK, I told you guys about before. I really do like the look of this one, but I gotta have a bad taste in my mouth because all through here at $10, it just couldn't. Every time it hit 10, it sold. So it has like a history of faking people out. And you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 topping tails here. So it has a history of faking people out. Is this like really beat up on the long-term chart or something? No? Just a monster. Yeah, I don't know. But it just has a history of these rally up and then sell and then rally up and then sell. So, it's possible that it's going to continue to do that. But again, that's one of the reasons that I always look for now a closing over a certain level or a close under a certain level or something like that. Just because, again, all of the BS we've been dealing with. Now, this is something that I don't scan for much, but I'm going to do now before I leave. And again, I'll still take chart requests, of course, and for the pro members, this will become obvious soon, but these are all short ideas that I'm interested in. I generally don't swing trade stocks short, just because I'm not historically good at it, but it's something I definitely want to work at. That's funny. Yeah, so these are ideas that kind of look a little worse for wear from the short end of things. And a lot of these are just gross looking. And this, if you're a Trade Ideas sub, this is a scan that should be out to you guys fairly soon. We're kind of implementing a new way to do some trading. Or a new way to do some scanning where I can pre-build some scans. So you can see these are all kind of bear flag looking type of things. Yeah, so there's a lot more of these than there is strong looking stocks, that's for sure. I wish, and I've asked for, and I may get at some point, some sort of breath style stuff for Trade Ideas. So we could see, because it would be interesting to see how many bull flags versus how many bear flags versus kind of compare count type stuff that we can do. So that's going to be about it. I got to say my favorite was, is it AVXL? No. One second. I know this is not the most entertaining looking screen, but it could be that M. These are just all the screenshots I took. That MMAT looks good. One of these I'm going to go off. They're the AVLR, I think, is going to be the one that I'm going to be the most interested in. Or maybe BlackBerry, to be honest. I really do like the look of that one, with its little inside day there. And then its island. This is technically called... Come on, iPad. Hello? No, you're not going to do it today? There it goes. So right here is what one would call an island reversal, I guess. So you have a gap down, and then a couple sideways days, and then a gap up, and then it holds that gap. If it was a one candle thing, the other term for it is abandoned baby. So, that's interesting to me as well. And yeah, right over kind of those two highs right there is, I think, where it could get going. And the thing that I really like about it is that if we close back under 10, you're wrong. you know, and everything that I like to give to people has tight risk reward. Let's revert. Done. No, the one I was talking about was this one. AVLR. Yeah, I just really like that's the one you mentioned there. I just really like the look of this, you know, bull flag. And then again, the fact that it's just been super, super strong. And one of the, you know, ways that you can just look at strength is saying, hey, you know, this thing's just up and to the left. But the other thing that I like to look at is all of the bottoming tails versus all of the topping tails. You can see there's not nearly as much in the way of topping tails up above us as there is these bottoming tails down here below. And again, to me, that just kind of signifies that during the day, every time they sell it off, a buyer comes in and buys that particular dip, whereas you're not seeing much of that in the reverse. So just showing that even though that we're up a bit, there may be some accumulation and some dip buyers here. And, you know, call it 180 is probably where I'd be wrong on this. Right? So if I'm entering at 190 and my stop is 180, then do I think we could get to 210, which would just be right up here? And yeah, I think I could get a 2-for-1 risk reward. If you wanted to go tighter with your risk reward, you could probably, you know, risk 5, right? Call if that's, you know, 185 around there, and then look to make 10 up to 200. So that's common as well. So, all right, guys, I'm going to take off a little bit early today. I just need to make that short video, so that will be up soon. And then I've got that University of Toronto thing later. Again, if they'll let me, I'll do that. I'll record that. If not, then that's fine as well. Again, it's a paid-for course and all that. So stay tuned for that on the channel. If I can't do that, I'll do something this weekend. I'll record something to have up for you guys for next week. I've been kind of slacking on the videos lately. Have to do a little better job on that. As always, if there's anyone who hasn't hit like on your way out, if you could do that for me, that'd be great. YouTube just always yells at me that I need to do more of that, so that would be fantastic. And I will talk to you guys soon.